Okay, in this video I'm going to be unpacking one of the Reading a Literary Text Common Core standards for 8th grade, which is the grade that I'll be teaching in my upcoming clinical. We'll be looking at sort of a subunit of a larger unit that I'm doing on utopian, dystopian novels. But in this one we will be reading the short story Harrison Bergeron by Kurt Vonnegut and looking at theme. So, before we get started with that, I'm going to point out two of the Common Core standards that will be important for this unit, and that is Reading for Literature 8.1, which is citing textual evidence that supports an analysis explicitly and inferentially, and 8.2, which is to determine a theme or central idea of a text and analyze its development over the course of the text, including its relationship to the characters, setting, and plot, and then to provide an objective summary of the text. We will be sort of honing in on 8.2 in this video because I've already done a lot of work with these students on 8.1, and that's going to be of a lot of help when we do sort of write our summative assessment paragraphs at the end of this unit. So I've highlighted a few of the terms and skills that are going to be important in this standard. First, looking at the terms. All very, very familiar to my students at this point. We might sort of go in a little further on development by reading it 2 times and being real careful about how we trace the theme. Then unpacking the skills. The following: number 1, determine a theme or central idea of a text. 2, analyze the development of a theme or central idea over the course of a text. And then 3 through 5, analyzing the relationship between a theme and the characters, setting, and plot. I'm going to leave off 6 for this video, but not necessarily for this unit. So the big ideas I want to look at are the following, which are: 1, science fiction writers use future settings to comment on aspects of contemporary society and or human nature. Number 2, human beings are a diverse species. And 3, achieving social progress takes extreme thought and care. If you haven't read this story, by the way, it's real short, really interesting, so I think the students will enjoy it, and you would probably enjoy it as well. So the essential questions that we're going to use to get back to our big ideas are, first of all, why do authors write about the future? Number 2, what responsibilities does the individual have towards society and vice versa? Number 3, what are the challenges of creating a better world? And these are going to sort of help us move towards identifying those themes, and something to keep in mind while the students are reading the text as well. So before we get into the activities, I just want to go through the process of how I plan to do this, which is to do a couple readings of the story. So we'll read it 1 time in class, and then students will be asked to complete Venn diagrams where they compare and contrast the setting of the story to the real world, to sort of get those differences out and address that first essential question. Then before we do our second reading, the students will also brainstorm topics, one-word ideas, one-word concepts that are present within the story, things like equality or freedom or uniqueness or something. And then once we have those topics brainstormed, students will have a purpose for the second reading and some things to annotate for. And we will also sort of be able to stop during that second reading and focus on how to close read and really analyze those important moments. Then after we complete that second read, students will be asked to choose one of those concepts, ideas that we spoke about at the beginning, and make mind maps where they analyze that relationship between the topic and the characters, the topic and what happens in the story, the topic and the world that they exist in. And then after they have all that, that is going to be the evidence. They're going to have their annotations, they'll have their mind map, they'll have their Venn diagram, and that will all serve as something to cite from when they do their summative assessment, which is to write what they think the author believes, what the author is trying to express in the short story.